Hello, my adorable friends, and welcome to another reading video. All right, it's a new week, which means a new letter sound, new sight words, and new learning. I love it. But give me your listening ears. I'm a little bit sad. This is our last week of reading videos. After this week, there are no more reading videos. Oh, I'm so sad. And that's because next week, we're going to start turning in our computers and all of our school materials. So you're going to be doing some work at home on your own without videos, but I promise you'll be able to do it. It's super easy peasy, and y'all are so smart. You've been showing me that during our reading and our assessment times, so don't you worry. But that means we have this week of reading videos, so let's make sure we make every single one count. That means at home you are saying the words out loud with me. You are practicing the new letter sounds. You're saying the sight words with me. All the things. So that I know we have one more week of amazing learning together. Okay? Can I count on you? I knew it. Okay. Like I said, though, new week, new letter patterns. This week we are going to talk about words that have two O's in them. But look, I have two different cards. What could that mean? That means sometimes when we have an O-O, it makes the sound, and sometimes it makes the ooh sound. Say that with me. And ooh. So let's try the first one. Sorry, I know it's a lot of card flipping. Okay, say this with me. Book. Okay, so that's the sound. Now let's try the ooh sound. Say it with me. Spoon. 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 Good. So it's going to be tricky. It's kind of one of those things you just have to teach your eyes and your ears and your mouth all to learn whether it's the ooh or the sound. Okay? Let's look at some pictures together. Excuse me. Hot Mess Express, Miss Sae-Wong is. Say this with me. Foot. So that has the sound. Let's try this one. Upside down. Goodness gracious. Say with me. Spoon. 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 So we have the ooh and the Let's practice a few more. Say this with me. Wood. Wood. All together. Wood. Next. Book. 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 Yep. All right, so those are the That's kind of funny to say. Now let's practice the ooh. Ready? Ooh, moon. All together. Moon. Nice. Let's do the next one. Pool. Pool. I'm so jealous of how many of you have a pool at your apartments. I'm jealous. I might come hang out for the summer and swim in the pools. Last one. Broom. All together. Broom. Awesome. So that's what we're going to be practicing this week, is the ooh and the Okay? So let's practice a few more up on our wall. We're going to start with the ooh sounds. Ready? Ooh. All together. Food. Here's that word we just practiced. Pool. All together. Pool. Last one. Root. All together. Root. Just like the roots of our plants. Okay, so there's the oohs. Now let's go to the uhs. Ready? K. It's too shiny. You can't see. Let's see if we can get. Oh, that's not helping. There we go. Took. All together. Took. Good. There's a word we just practiced. Wood. Wood. All together. Wood. Last one. Foot. All together. Foot. Yes. Thank you for practicing with me. The double O's can kind of be tricky. That's why we're going to spend a whole week. Oh my gosh, I'm knocking over our sight words. So we're going to spend a whole week making sure we know the difference between the oohs and the uhs. Okay. Let's talk about our sight words for the week. Ready? Say them with me. Does, another, wash, some. My dog does not like to be out in the cold. He's a big baby. Does. Another. Luckily, we have another full week of school together so that I can see your adorable faces. Another. Wash. Please wash your hands so you can stay healthy. So important. Wash. And some. There is some soap at the sink to wash your hands. Like how I did that? Say it with me. Some. Okay, rapid fire. We're going to say them quick. Ready? Does. Another. Wash. Some. All right, friends, let's jump over and talk about today's work. All right, friends, here is what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about our reading log for the week. Of course, we have some sight words to work on. We are going to do a little bit of work in our ELA work number 4 book. And we're going to do a little bit of work in our journal. So I want you to hit pause, go grab these 4 books, grab your pencil, and come on back when you're ready. All right, friends, if you're back with me, that tells me you have all the things. Let's start with this week's reading log. Okay. I'm going to open up. Oh my gosh, we're almost done. We are going to open up to the information through photographs reading log. I'll give everybody a minute to turn there and we'll talk about what that means. Okay, if you need more time, just hit pause. So, of course, as always, you're going to read your book, write the title of the book, and you're going to draw something you learned from the photographs in the text. Photographs are pictures, okay? So photographs, this word right here, this long, crazy word, those are just pictures in a story, okay? So I'm just going to use our Unit 9 magazine and we'll read this story tomorrow. But let's just pretend we're looking at this picture right here. Well, what is some information that we learned about the story just from this picture? Well, it looks like there's going to be animals. There are kids here with the animals. Oh, and they're feeding them. So the information I would write down would say, the kids are feeding the animals. Or more specifically, the kids are feeding the giraffes. So you're just going to tell me what information you learned from pictures in your story. Now, if you're reading a story without pictures, then I just need you to give me some important information about the story. But I think most of us are reading books that have pictures, so we can get some information. Just like when we do our book walks and we look at the pictures and we try to figure out what's going to happen in that story by using the pictures, that's what we're practicing this week. What do we see and what does it tell us? Okay, let me know if you're not clear on what we're doing in this week's reading log. This is the first time we've seen this reading log, but I want us to practice using those pictures because that's going to be important when we go into 2nd grade to use our picture support if we're reading a new story. Okay, ask me if you have any questions. Moving right along. Today's sight words. Okay, so I made a little goof. You know how I've told you all that I understand your brains are tired as we get closer and closer to the end of the school year? Well, guess what? My brain is getting pretty tired too. So we are going to open up to the word page, which is sort of mixed in with other pages we've already finished. So I'm going to give everybody a little bit of time to turn to the word page. Okay, if you need more time, just hit pause. Let's work on this word together. One more time, say it with me. Page. Read the sentence with me. The first page is about bears. We're going to write it, find it, write it again, and draw it. Hit pause, work on page, come back when you're ready. Okay, if you're back with me, that tells me you're all done with page. So now we're going to turn forward a few pages, to the word found. I'll give everybody a little bit more time so you can turn to found. Sorry that we skipped page, but it kind of goofed up our order, so that's why we had to go back and work on that page. I love it when we get to play with words like that. All right, if you need more time, just hit pause. We're going to keep moving forward. Say this word with me. Found. Read the sentence with me. I found money in my pocket. Good. Write it. Find it. Write it again. And draw it. Hit pause. Work on found. Come back when you're ready. Okay, if you're back with me, that tells me you're all done with found, which means we're all done with our sight words for the day. Now we're going to open up our ELA work number 4 book. We're going to open up, here we go, to page 37. 37 is all about adjectives. I feel like we've been talking about adjectives a lot lately, but it's really important that we understand what they are and how to use them. So one more time, adjectives give information about a noun. What's a noun? What is a noun? Good, say it with me. A noun is a person, place, or thing. So adjectives describe or give us information about a person, place, or thing. Okay? Oh my goodness, and I almost forgot, and I can hear you all shouting at me at home. We forgot to put our name and the date at the top. So first we have to stop and put our name at the top. We have to make sure we practice that. So when you come back to school for 2nd grade, you're ready to rock and roll. And today's date is 5-24-21. I had to look at our calendar. I forgot what today's date was. Oh my goodness. My brain is tired, friends. Thank you all for putting up with Mrs. Sae-Wong's very tired brain. All right, so what we're going to do today is we're going to read each sentence and we're going to underline the adjective. Then we're going to circle the noun it describes. So we're underlining the adjective and circling the noun. So let's look at the example. Lou wore white shoes. So shoes is our noun because they're a thing. And white is the word that describes the shoes. So we know what color Lou's shoes were. Jean is a fast runner. We're going to circle runner because that's our noun. That's our person. Jean is fast. So fast is the adjective describing what kind of runner she has, or what kind of runner she is. Then lastly, Rocco has 3 bags. Well, bags are our noun. And the number 3 is how many bags Rocco has. So 3 describes the number of bags that Rocco has. All right. So that's what we're going to do as we read through each of the sentences. I'm going to do the first one with you. Actually, I'll do the first 2 with you, and then you're going to do the rest. So number 1, read it with me. Dad put on his old jeans. So dad is a noun because that's a person, but there's nothing describing dad, so we're not going to circle that noun. Dad put on his old jeans. Jeans is a noun because they're a thing. They're his pants. And we know that's the noun we're talking about because it talks about his old jeans. So I can picture in my brain a pair of old jeans that maybe have some holes or they're really worn down. They look like we've worn them a lot. So old is describing dad's jeans. We all have that pair of jeans, right, that we wear when we're working, maybe in the garage, on the cars, in the yard. Those old jeans that Probably can't wear anywhere else. They're too many holes and too worn out, but they're perfect for working. Okay. Let's do number 2 together. Are you ready? He sprinkled tiny seeds around the lawn. He sprinkled tiny seeds around the lawn. So he is describing a person, so that's our pronoun for our noun. But he is not being described by anything. But seeds are a thing. So they're our noun. And the word right before it, tiny, are telling us there's little itty bitty seeds being sprinkled around. So tiny is the adjective that describes our noun, which is seeds. Okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to go through and I'll read each sentence with you. And you are going to circle the noun and underline the adjective. I'm going to read kind of quickly so we can get through. All I need you to do is hit pause anytime you need a little bit more time. So number 3, it says, he sprayed cool water. He sprayed cool water. What's our noun and what's our adjective describing that noun? Number 4, the warm sun heated the soil. The warm sun heated the soil. So what noun in that sentence has an adjective describing it? Number 5, soon we had soft grass. Soon we had soft grass. Number 6, Mom dug holes in the brown soil. Mom dug holes in the brown soil. What's our noun and where's our adjective describing that noun? Number 7, she planted yellow flowers. She planted yellow flowers. Okay, number 8. Soon there were large blooms. Soon there were large blooms. All right, hit pause if you need a little bit more time. When you're all done with page 37, head on over to Seesaw. Actually, when we're done with our video, I should say. And send me a picture so that I know you are getting the hang of finding your adjectives that are describing the noun in your sentences. Okay? Last thing we're going to do is we're going to open up our journals. You're going to find the next blank page. My page isn't blank. I already have some things written, but you're going to find your next blank empty page. All right, first things first. First, we have to stop and put our name at the top. So I write my name, you write your name. And today's date, say it with me, is 5-24-21. So today we are going to read a story called The Shoemaker and the Elves. It's a fun story that I think you all are going to enjoy. While we're listening to it, though, I want you to think about 3 key details or important pieces of information from the story. It might be something that you think is funny from the story, something that talks about the main idea, or something important so that if we were talking to somebody about this story that had never read it, those important details would make that person understand what's going on, okay? So let me switch my screen. We'll listen to the story, and then we'll come back and write down our 3 details. The Shoemaker and the Elves. This is a fun story, so make sure you are comfy, settled in, ready to listen. The shoemaker and the elves. And let's keep this in mind. How can elves help a shoemaker? We're gonna find out. Okay. Once upon a time, a shoemaker lived with his wife in a little village. Although the shoemaker worked hard, he could not earn enough money to make a living. One day he found that all he had left in the shop was enough leather to make one pair of shoes. That night the shoemaker cut out the leather and set it on his workbench. Then he went to bed. The next morning the shoemaker was amazed to find a perfect pair of shoes on his workbench. He called his wife. "Wife, wife, come quick and see. Look what someone made for me." The new shoes were so beautiful that a customer paid extra for them. Now the shoemaker could buy enough leather to make 2 pairs of shoes. That night, the shoemaker cut out the leather and set it on his workbench. The next morning, there on his bench were 2 perfect pairs of shoes. Once again, the shoemaker sold the beautiful shoes quickly. That night, the shoemaker cut out enough leather to make 4 pairs of shoes. Just as before, he set it on his workbench, ready to make the shoes the next day. Just as before, he went to bed. The next morning, just as before, there on his bench were 4 pairs of perfect shoes. Once again, the shoemaker sold the beautiful shoes quickly. Day after day, the shoemaker woke to find wonderful shoes on his bench. Shoes for work, shoes for play, shoes to dance the night away. Day after day, more and more people came to buy the beautiful shoes. One night, the shoemaker said to his wife, "We must find out who is making the shoes." So after supper, they hid in a cupboard in the back of the store and watched. Just as the clock struck 12, 2 tiny elves danced into the room. They hopped up on the bench and began to work. As they worked, they sang, "We sleep by day, at night we sew. In and out our needles go. Stitch, stitch, stitching small and neat. Lovely shoes for lucky feet." That's a great song. As daybreak came, the elves danced out the window and disappeared. "How can we ever thank them?" wondered the shoemaker. "We have made a lot of money because of them." "Let's make them some new clothes," said his wife. The shoemaker and his wife bought the smoothest silks and softest satins. They made the elves new suits. On New Year's Eve, they put 2 little sets of clothes on the bench. Then they hid in the cupboard and watched. When the little elves saw the new clothes, they danced and laughed and clapped their hands. They put on the clothes and twirled around. Then they danced out the window and were gone forever. The shoemaker and his wife were never poor again, but they never forgot the elves that helped them. Every New Year's Eve, they put out a new set of clothes for the elves. How nice. And every New Year's Day, the clothes are gone. Awesome. What an adorable story. I think that's a silly story, but it's also a kind story because the elves saw that there was a way they could help the shoemaker and his wife. And the shoemaker and his wife were able to make enough money to be able to live and buy the things they needed. And in return, they made sure that they did something kind for the elves and gave the elves a wonderful present. So now we're going to head back over to our journals. And we are going to write 3 important details or key details from the story. It can be whatever information you think was important. Make sure you are giving me complete sentences. Make sure you are using capital at the beginning, a capital letter, I should say, and punctuation at the end. But like I said, these are your ideas, your thoughts. So I am not going to give you sentence stems because you are all amazing writers and you've been showing me that you can write without those sentence stems. So give me 3 sentences showing the key details or important information from the story. When you're all done, so head on over to Seesaw, send me a picture of your key details or your sentences with that important information. If you have questions, though, if you're stuck, if you need some help writing your sentences, let me know during our 11 o'clock meeting. All right, friends, have a great day. I will see you later.